Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. Girl, it's time to be real, raw, and relentless. Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. You know it's time.
Recrown you.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Truly Inspired Martin, and welcome to another episode of the Recrown You podcast, baby. That's right, ladies. We are here for the women who are ready to be real, raw, and relentless in their pursuit to unleash their inner badass. What exactly does that mean to you? That means that you are the woman that says, you know what, I don't know what is ahead of me, but I'm going to jump anyway. You're the woman that says, I done been through some things that I did not deal with, and now I think it's the time for me to face it. You're the woman that says, you know what, this is my time. This is my year. I'm sick of saying that I coulda, shoulda, and woulda, and this is the time where I embrace every part of my story, every part of my journey, and I make it happen. And that's what we get into here, ladies. We get into all those nooks and those crannies and those things that you really don't want to talk about, right? Like, we don't want to talk about our business. We don't want to really talk about our personal development, our money, our health, we don't want to go into all these different facets of our lives. But at the end of the day, in order for you to be that woman that you said you want to be, it's going to take a lot of things that you're going to have to do. So everybody wants to be, but nobody's willing to do the work. And that's what we're doing here. So, although I'm here for entertainment, and although you come here and you might get a laugh, you might feel like you're sitting down with your homegirls at the dinner table. But baby, I need you to take out a notebook and pen and rewind this as many times as you need to get this in your spirit. Because this is not about me. It's about you. So, y'all know I'm excited about today's episode because I am all the time, right? I'm always excited about our episodes because I bring real and raw people to the table that are willing to share their journey. They are willing to show you just how relentless they are in their pursuit to live their best lives. And that's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. We are out here giving you the tools, the tips, the strategy, the resources, the game plan, and the blueprint to go out there and make shit happen. So, y'all know I start every episode with a quote, right? Because it sets the foundation, right? And that's what we're doing. We're setting the foundation. So, today's quote comes from Michelle Ruiz, and it reads, "If people are doubting how far you can go so far that you can't hear them anymore." Whew, let me run that back. If people are doubting how far you can go so far that you can't hear them anymore. Honey, go so far that you can't hear them anymore. All those doubters, all those naysayers, all those people telling you that you can't, I'm telling you right now that you can, and it's in your hands to go do it. You can change the trajectory of your family tree. You can change your financial tree. You can change the way your life looks right now. You can change your relationship right now. You can change your health. You can change your finances. You can change your business. You can change yourself, but it starts with you. And it starts with you saying, I'm making a conscious decision and real effort to make that change for myself. So, today's episode is going to be so litty, as it always is, right? I'm bringing to you a powerhouse, a woman that's going to give you what she knows so that you can go out there and be great yourself, right? So, I think it's so amazing what the name of her company is, because y'all know we are all about the crowns here, ladies. This is RECROWN You. And her company is called Crowned Financials, LLC. And we're talking about Brittany Greene today. She owns Crowned Financials, LLC. She is a wealth building coach, a financial influencer, voted best speaker at Toastmasters International, and a former international radio show host. Honey, she is getting us together today, okay, in 5 key areas: money mindset, credit, how to leverage or lose, budget and saving, releasing bad debt, investing, and legacy building. So you're going to get a little splash of all of this throughout the conversation, right? And she is here to give us what she knows, honey. Today's topic is recrowning your finances. Baby, baby! Without further ado, let me bring my girl to the stage. Brittany, you here?
Yes, baby girl, I am here. How are you doing?
I am good, good, good. How are you?
I know that's right. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast, honey, because y'all keeps it real, y'all keeps it raw, and y'all keep giving the ladies something that they can build on every single time you put out new things. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being a part of the Recrown You family, girl. You are a part of the family now. So, hey, turn up. So, let's go ahead and dive, whatever we want to call it, right? Let's get into this. So who are you? So, besides what I just told the people about you, who are you at the core? And what is one fun fact that nobody knows? Ooh.
So, besides everything that you told them, I am a total goofball. So I'm always looking to get into something that's going to keep my spirits high, keep me young and fit, because honestly and truly, we don't get no younger. As many times as we have said, I can't wait to turn 18, or I can't wait to hit 21. We couldn't wait to do all that. And then once we hit those ages, we're like, all right, I just want to go back.
Child, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I said I'm gonna be 30 forever now. So
look, that's it. I don't go age past 30. Once I get there, that's it. We stop getting older. So to me, I'm always a kid at heart. So I'm always looking for something to get into. I was actually born in Detroit, Michigan, but raised in Tampa, Florida. But now y'all can catch me at the coast of Miami, right now, building for life and career. But one thing I can say that no one really knows about me is belly dance. I have done that professionally for almost 7 years. And it is something that I can tell you not many people know about me. And once they find out, they're like, wait, you did what?
Girl, bless
So that's a little
heart.
fun fact about me.
I ain't belly dancing nowhere but in the house, girl. Ain't nobody about to see this, okay? I got about maybe like a smooth 25 more pounds to lose before I could really be out here bellying, you know what I'm saying?
That's all right. I'm pulling you out the house. When you say you ready, we getting out the house. We going to one of these cafes, or we going to go to one of these dance rooms, and we going to kick it out, honey. We going to be in there rocking with the old 70-year-old ladies.
I'm with
Who
it.
don't care.
Girl, YOLO.
We going to be in there.
I'm going to be in
YOLO.
I'm bringing it back.
Bring it back, baby. Bring it back. They got to know.
Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes because we hungry, right? So let's talk about first of all, I always got to ask people this question when I hear our people, Black women, Black men, getting into credit, getting into finances, talking about numbers, okay? Right? Like, who really wants to talk about money? And like, we like to spend it, right? Spend a check and get it right back, right?
Right? I know that's right.
We like to spend that, but we don't really know the basis behind that. So please, what made you even try to even want to even be in that arena?
In this area.
Give me something.
So, honestly and truly, and this is another fun fact that people may not know about me, but I hated finance in school. When they were teaching us finance, I completely hated it. And I wondered why, because I'm like, this is such an important topic, but they didn't teach us about the personalized side of things, right? So one of the things is we don't learn the personal aspects of finance in school or at home, not because we don't want to, but our parents maybe felt inadequate, as if they couldn't teach us, the ins and outs of finance, maybe because they didn't do things right themselves. And that was actually my case. I had a single mom, brought us out of Detroit, brought us down to Tampa with my grandmother, and they basically did all the raising of me, right? But they didn't always, have it together from a financial standpoint. It was more so, hey, stay away from credit cards, stay away from this. save your money, but it never really had a true meaning behind it, right? They taught us what they could. And it came down to me seeing my mom struggling, seeing her living paycheck to payday loan. That's one of the things I say now, because that's what our community is really doing. Because of course that's where that's what they have for us, is those paychecks to payday loans, until they put you in this continuous cycle to where now you're losing and you're going behind on your bills type of thing. And, watching my mom and others that I knew that were close to us go through that, I said, you know what, that will never be me. Right. But then I got out here and I got thrown to the wolves and had to fend for myself and try to figure out finance by myself. And I ended up in that same cycle of the paycheck to payday loan thing. I didn't, of course it didn't get out of hand, but it was still one of those things where it was like, yeah, I don't ever want to do this. Right. Or me getting into that cycle of, I want to own a home one day. I want to get a promotion on my job, but now they're running my credit and they're seeing, my credit looking a certain way. And I'm wondering, okay, well, how do I do this? How do I get it to where it needs to be? So it was really self-taught from me, messing up my own credit a couple of times and then bringing it back. I love to tell this part of the story. When I was in college, I was swiping my credit card, just swiping away. And then every time I would get a refund check, I would pay on that thing thinking, okay, yep, I'm building credit. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Always thinking that money's going to be there. But then when that money ran out, it was like, all right, Brittany, you got to fend for yourself. Now here you are with this $2,000 balance on a credit card and you need to figure out how to pay it. Right. So then I'm having to struggle with jobs because they pay you enough to keep you. And they, just do that bare minimum so that you're locked in. And you're feeling like you can't go anywhere because you need them. You're stacked up to here in bills. And I'm like, this can't be life. It has to be more to it. So I buckled down, started teaching myself credit, fixed my mom's credit, fixed my credit, got myself back over to a 700, got my mom over a 700 for the first time in her life. And it felt good. But then I looked at the statistics and I said, our kings and queens aren't being educated on this. Just like I wasn't educated. This isn't just an isolated situation. This is something that's very common. Right? Over 85% of America doesn't even know their credit score. So I'm like, okay, because, maybe either they don't know it or they don't know how it's calculated or they don't know how to improve it. There's a gap. And, wherever there's a gap, there needs to be a solution. And I said, if I have the tools that help people build credit without credit cards, or I have, the tools to help you get things off of your credit report and help you align and organize and eliminate your debt, why not share that information? Somebody's got to share it. And if not me, then who? So that's how I got started.
Listen, don't nobody be trying to check no credit score, girl. You got you check that thing with one eye open, okay?
One eye.
You can't
look. That is where you want it to be.
You're be scared as hell, sweating like you act like you about to die if you see this thing. And I know that for a fact because I remember the one time I seen my to be honest, the last time I've ever seen my credit score at the high sevens was beginning of college. The highest I've seen it as a graduated adult, as I call myself, the highest I've seen it is probably like high sixes, 680, 690, but it never went past that, right? And I know a lot of us may have grown up with that cash is king.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That mentality of cash is king. You heard it in the households. A lot of people might have heard it growing up and not realizing that that's some BS.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Total.
Like, cash is not king. Let's stop lying. Right?
Let us.
Let us pray. But it's that mindset of understanding and knowing. It's really about the knowledge, right? Of knowing how to utilize credit in the right way. Because a lot of times you were told, stay away from credit cards. Like, just like boys, I'm not about to stay away from no credit card.
Because I'm doing it anyway, honey. Okay?
Exactly.
I got to learn the hard way.
Listen, I'm going to be right there doing whatever I got to do, learn the hard way, fall on my ass a couple times, which I did. Because when I first went to college, they were giving me everything. It was like Oprah was at college handing out credit cards. Like, you get a card, you get a card. Everybody gets a card. Like, I had the Bank of America student credit card. I had Macy's card.
Oh, wow.
I had, I was popping, had the Nextel, the flip, the little walkie-talkie back in the day. I think it was called Nextel. I don't know what it was called now. But the little, where you at? So I had the little chart
Uh-huh.
on one hip, and then on the other hip, I had the Sidekick, the T-Mobile Sidekick.
Oh, I love the sidekick.
Girl, they was giving me all the juice. Anything I wanted, I could walk up in the store and I could get it. And instead of, stay away from credit cards, there needs to be another solution that's put in play. What do you think that mindset shift has to be in order to allow people?
Yeah, it's just like boys, just like they say, stay away from it. But if you notice the strict parents, and this is, nothing towards strict parents, because in some cases it's good, but in other cases, people become curious. Rather than if you just educated them right away, it would be, okay, I can make a well-informed decision now because I know better, I can do better. But if you just telling me stay away, I'm going to wonder why, and I'm going to get curious, and I'm going to go try to find out on my own. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to find out the right way, right? So it's just like any other education that we have. Instead of telling me to stay away from it, help me learn how to leverage it, because I'm going to need it when it comes to me wanting to buy a house. I'm going to need it if I want to get a job. In certain cases, they run your credit to see where you are, to see if they can trust you in this position, handling whatever it is that they're giving you, right? So instead of that mindset has to be, we have to get out of that old way of thinking of, oh, it's just here to mess you up. It's just here to get you off track, and say, you know what? As parents, I didn't have the best judgment against credit cards. And I know that credit is important. So let's learn together as a family. Let's figure this out together as a family, so that instead of me steering you away from it, I can help you make a better decision. So taking away those limiting beliefs and actually sitting down with your child, getting on YouTube, getting on Google, and start educating yourselves on the importance of credit, how to leverage, how to go from, abusing it to leveraging it. That's why I said leverage it or lose it, because you're going to end up losing your mind if you're not handling your credit, handling your credit correctly. But if you know how to leverage it, like every other culture, they find a way to incorporate credit education into their children, right? They find a way to incorporate entrepreneurship, right? We have to get out of that mindset of things are how they used to be. You grow up, you go to college, you get a job, and you retire, because things aren't like that anymore, right? We can see that now with the baby boomers, how now they're struggling and they're having to return back to the workforce. They're 70, 80, 90 years old, still working, because they're still hanging on to that old mindset. So leveraging that fact of, all right, things aren't how they used to be. We need to become educated, so now we know the right decisions, letting that pride down.
That's good. That's real good. Because that's even something that I do with my HR trainings. I speak a lot about millennial retention, job retention, because a lot of these employers are not realizing it's not your game no more. It's their game. Like, it's an employee market. And they're not really understanding how to keep, millennials and Generation Z and Y in the workplace. It's hard, right? And that's one of the things that I know. It's money is going to be one of those things that we really are going to have to know and understand. And I even read this thing in Forbes, I believe it was, that in 2052, the net worth of Black Americans, Black people as a whole, is going to be zero.
Wow.
2052. And we're in 2020 as of next year. So we're talking 32 years from now. We're talking about our kids and our children's children having zero net worth. And it's not that African Americans or Blacks or whatever you want to name us, right? It's not that we don't have money, because we have some high number trillion buying power in America. Like, that's
over 7 trillion.
That is ridiculous. And that we are not understanding how to really circulate. If you look at all these other cultures, that money go round and round, honey. Like nothing. And this is not meant to be a prejudice or a racist remark. This is me being very vigilant on what I see. If you go to a bunch of Dunkin' Donuts, a lot of Indians own them. They own franchises. If you go to certain gas stations, same concept. Beauty supply stores, Asians.
And they're circulating that dollar in their community.
Their cousins work there. Their father worked there. They passing it down to their kids. The kids are in there learning the restaurant business. They're learning this. They're learning that. What are we spending money on? What are we doing?
We are considered modern day slaves right now.
Hello.
Once they got rid of us, or once we were set free, they began to now captivate us at the mind, because if you can control the mind, the body's going to follow. Right? It's going to do what you tell it to do. So the more we remain in this fearful atmosphere, the more we remain in this place where it's like, all right, I have to do this because I need this job, because I need to provide, to provide for my family, and this is all I'm worth, then that's all you're going to think. Right? But the minute you step out of yourself and you start to condition your own mind, no one else can control you. And that is the difference with every other race. And I'm so happy for for our culture for starting to wake up and understand this, because that statistic that they have drawn up, they're gonna have to reevaluate that, because I don't foresee that happening. I don't. And the reason why I say that is because we are really starting to wake up. We are really starting to step into this mode of healing and manifestation, and really pulling for our goals to actually come true. And I'm really loving that piece to the puzzle, but we have to make sure that however we develop ourselves, we take the people around us that are influenced by us and we bring them with us, because that's all it boils down to. If I give you the education, go share it with your brothers and sisters. Go share it with your parents. Go share it with your cousins. Go share it with whoever you need to share it with, because and don't worry about if the mind is closed right now. It'll open up, because the right person is going to, come to it. But it's more so of us now getting out of that modern day slavery, because they want to control what we buy, where we are. Look at the marketing. Look at everything of where we are and what they have, like all the Popeyes. Look in our hoods, all the different corner stores and things around us to pull us down. Think about how they treat us in the job market. Think about how they treat us in the justice system. Right? If they can control our mind, they're going to control our dollar. And that's what we're changing.
Listen, I honestly believe that true success with a woman comes from the inspiration of others, right? So really being able to reach back and truly inspire another woman, to really pull her forward, to give her the knowledge that she lacks. Just because she does not know, just because she is unaware, does not make her stupid, does not make her dumb, does not make her any of that. She is just unaware. She is uneducated of that fact, or she was not granted the opportunity to learn such things. So I think it's so important to input knowledge back into our own people, and specifically for me, our women. And I find it funny, right, that it can be so easy for us to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and go to a job, or 6 o'clock in the morning and go to a job, but it'll take everything in you to get up at that same time for yourself. And
we grind for everybody else.
And you're good with knowing that this stable check, which is nothing wrong with that, because I ain't got no issues with going to get a job, right?
But stable check. But make sure you putting that into your empire, right?
Yes, like that needs to be your funding source. And not to say, and I want to make a note on that. Not to say that everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. We need employees, all right? Truth be told, right? But I feel like that same energy that you give these jobs and give these other people, you need to keep that same energy for yourself. And that is where that shift takes, right? So, truth moment.
And it's key. And before you move on, just a quick thing. Just like you said, everybody can't be an entrepreneur, but everyone can have a protection file. Everybody can protect their family. Everybody can, create investments for themselves where they don't have to leave their job. If you love your job, that's perfect. But set yourself up to have something else working for you, so that you're not having to work for the rest of your life.
True indeed. Okay. I'm not with it. So I'll be on a pullback. But truth moment, right? So I filed bankruptcy in 2017. A lot of my inner circle, they know, because I ain't no shame in my game. Like I keep it real. So I filed bankruptcy in 2017, had some little weird issue that actually came down to something you spoke on earlier. It's kind of like a payday loan, but it wasn't a payday loan. But this company supposedly closed down, and then they said my debt was released, but that information was incorrect. They sold it to somebody else. That other place did not even inform me that they had the debt. So I never knew who was calling me or nothing. So not even 30 days, they sued me for the debt.
Oh, wow.
If I would have known then what I know now about what my rights
Mm-hmm.
were, I probably would have took a different approach. But I was also in a lot of debt, so I was like, shoot, all the millionaires I know done filed bankruptcy several
Mm-hmm.
times, so I'm good.
I don't see nothing wrong.
So, hey, ain't no R. Kelly on here. So, but no, but truthfully though, like big corporations, like they,
Mm-hmm.
man, Toys R Us about to resurface. What are y'all talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They filed bankruptcy just to get a clean slate. They're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's not a bad thing. And I remember my dad made me feel so bad about it. Like he was like, "I need you to take a different option." That's horrible, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
can't get mad at him for how he thinks about that. That's how it's always been
Mm-hmm.
viewed, especially for our people. Like bankruptcy is the ultimate no-no, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
just don't do that. So, and I think that comes down to really like not allowing old thinkings to stop you from making new decisions, right? So I can't
Mm-hmm.
allow how my dad feels. I can take his information and
Mm-hmm.
I can use it to my own advantage. But at the end of the day, you got to do your own research, right? So tell me a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about bankruptcy, right? Am I just screwed when I file bankruptcy, or because there's probably somebody that's listening right now? So like
Mm-hmm.
they're probably like, "Girl, I just did it," or "I'm contemplating it," or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me something.
Um, Not necessarily. You're not necessarily screwed. You will be if you take no action, meaning you don't work to get the bankruptcy removed from your report and you're just allowing it to sit there. Because sometimes when you're looking for jobs or when you're looking for, certain places of like to register to live, so certain apartments or, mortgages, they'll ask that question. And of course, you have to be truthful about it. But if it's not on your report anymore and it's not really affecting you, then you're in a lot better, in a lot better circumstance. There are definitely other options that you can have because, of course, I will say this with big corporations, when they file for bankruptcy, it is a tad bit different than the average family, going for bankruptcy just because there are different laws and things like that happen with that. So, I would definitely say if you do have the opportunity to explore all of your options before filing for bankruptcy. And then if you've already filed for one, it's not the end. You can now work to get that bankruptcy removed from your report because it basically is like, all right, we remove all the debt from your report, but now we're going to add this big old fat bankruptcy stamp. But it doesn't have to stay there. I know a lot of people will say, oh, they told me it has to be there for 7 years. No, you can easily send off what's called dispute letters or, different actual written letters to the credit bureaus to actually have those things removed from your report so that you can move on.
Okay, so you just discussed letters, right? I
Mm-hmm.
know there's somebody over there like, girl, what letter am I writing? Santa Claus. So they said tell Santa what you want, but
Exactly. Hello.
but are you referencing the Fair Credit Act, the 609 letters, or what are you talking about?
So yes and no. I will say this because there are numbers of verbiages out there. You have to find the one if you're going to do it by yourself. Like I tell people all the time, it's going to be some type of investment, whether you're doing it yourself. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to want to look through all of the verbiages and make sure that they are actually approved by the Fair Credit Reporting Act because that's what's going to, weigh the most when you're sending these things off to the actual credit bureaus. So 609 letters are just one form of letters. There are a number of them out there. So if you're doing it yourself, just again, like I said, look for those that are Fair Credit Reporting Act approved. That way it helps more so in your case. Or you can pay for the conveniency for someone like a credit restoration company or someone who does credit. They can, they already have the verbiage approved, etc., that can help you get those negative marks off of your report. Now, what I will say is something that I always, and I just want to make sure I throw this out there, I always tell people to do is make sure that you get a paper trail. The best thing to do is make sure that those letters are paper, right? You print them off the computer, you find verbiage that works for you, or you pay for it, and make sure that they're not just disputing online, right? Because when you dispute online, you have people that receive results and then you have people that don't, right? Some people say, hey, I heard back from them within 2 weeks, 30 to 45 days. and I was starting to get results, right? But then you have other people who were like, I haven't heard from them for 6 to 7 or 8 months, right? So you want to make sure that at least one thing is guaranteed. If you send off a letter in the mail with a stamp and you're writing directly to the credit bureaus, they have to, by law, respond to you within 30 to 45 days. Have to, by law. So I would always say, make sure it's that printed form, mailed in an envelope with a stamp, sent off to the credit bureaus. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that you find, and Google is a really good source if you're going to be doing it yourself. Finding letters on Google, finding the verbiage. You're going to find people on YouTube. Find something in something that you trust, or find a company. If you're going to pay for it, find a company that you trust, right? Making sure that they're educating you through the process. You know what's going on. You know what type of letters they're sending off for you. This way, you can say, all right, I'm covering my tail. You always want to cover your behind. You cover it at work. You better cover it when it comes to your credit as well.
I know that's right. CYA, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Ow.
So, small pivot, right? So, what do you believe is one of the biggest hindrances when it comes to millennials and money?
So, one of the biggest, I think, things that millennials have an issue with when it comes to money is our need for instant gratification, right? We want to live in the now. We want to go on these beautiful vacations, which is nothing wrong with. We want to have the latest and the greatest of everything because we want to flex for Instagram, right? We want to show out for Facebook and impress all these people, when in reality, we probably will all sit in the same circle and say, oh, I was trying to impress y'all. Here I ain't think y'all was going through nothing. Right. So we're looking at that and trying to have it all together right now, when in reality, we need to be thinking long term. Right. So instead of falling into the same cycles of our parents and with mismanagement of money, we need to learn how to put some direction to our money, put some discipline to our actions, because our money, it was something that said, because we don't often think about retirement when we're in our 20s, right? We don't think about investments and all those things. But it was said that at retirement, we were going to need 1 million plus in order to be set for retirement, to have everything, and that was just for the need, like our basic needs. That didn't include the tax of where we'll be staying, if we want to travel, if we want to have things ready for, if we want to provide for our children, send them off to college, help them with their first house. That doesn't include any of that. That comes with our basic needs, right? It doesn't even take our health into account of what we'll be, going through then. So that was a lot of what we had going on with money.
Now that's interesting, because I do know a little bit about the YOLO lifestyle. I mean, I'm better now. I'm a recovering YOLOist, so I'm better now. But I can say I was one of those people that I needed that instant gratification. We want it now. It's a microwave society, and especially people's wins and people's lives look like they get it overnight,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what
that's how it looks.
But that ain't what it is. So what?
At all. It is not it at all. It takes many nights to get that overnight.
Hello, ain't nothing overnight. So what's a method you would say is a way to help people get out of? So a lot of people have more debt, right, and then zero in savings.
Mm-hmm.
So what is maybe some steps that we can take today to kind of change the track of everything? Like, how do I start saving some money, and how do I get my credit on track? Like, what is something as a listener right now that I can go do today? Maybe a few steps you have that I can go do today to start getting my life right, because that's important.
That's right. So what I can say first is, of course, I'm going to tell every client this. Anyone who comes to work with me, if you're a student, if you are just a credit client, doesn't matter who you are, a business, the first thing you have to do is get rid of those limiting beliefs. We all have something that we're holding on to mentally that we did not, think about beforehand. That is keeping us back. It's holding us back from where we could be going, right? So we have to cut those ties in order to reach our fullest potential, right? The next thing is you want to go check your credit report, right? The one thing that I can say is everything that you do from a debt standpoint, from a saving, from a budget standpoint is affecting your credit some way, shape, or form. So you need to figure out where you are. Head to Credit Karma, head to you have a free annual credit report that you're entitled to every single year. Head to Experian, head somewhere and start getting an idea of where your credit score is, right? Start to understand. If you need a free consultation as far as credit evaluation, I can do those for you to help you understand those different tabs back there, because I understand when you log on to figure out what your credit report is talking about, it can throw you for an entire loop because you don't know how many points it is equaling, how many points you're missing just by a late payment, right? You don't know how many points it equals up to when it comes to utilization, how many points you could be missing out on. So if you need help understanding those areas, please reach out because I'll do that. I'll do that free consultation for you guys as well for that. But you want to get an idea of where you are, and don't get discouraged once you see your credit score. Trust me, because when you talk to me and say, oh, my credit score is bad, if it's not in the negatives, trust me, I've seen worse. So if you see a 3 or 4, anything of that nature, that's okay. That's okay, because we can make sure that, we talk about the steps to go and move forward from there. Then as far as your budgeting, your saving, like I told you before, everything that you do behavior-wise affects your credit. So when you start to change your budget and clean up the way you're disciplined with spending, you'll see that you have more money to now put in towards paying down your debt. You'll see that you have more money towards getting, and making sure that your credit is okay. So we need to do a budget cleanup. You need to figure out where, I always advise the Mint app, MINT. Because when I went on there and I was cleaning up my budget, what I found, when I first did it, I was appalled with myself. I was like, Brittany, how could you eat this much? Y'all, I spent $374 on eating out. That did not include groceries. Y'all, I was disgusted with myself because y'all know me. I love me some Chick-fil-A, love me some seafood, some Popeyes. I love all that. But $374. And I was the first person screaming, I don't have enough money to save. I don't have enough money to this and that. I learned how to clean up my budget. And that's why I tell anybody, I say, I guarantee you I can find $100 to $300 in your budget right now that you can be saving. And they're like, nuh-uh. And I'm like, let me show you. And every time I show them, they're like, uh-oh, looking like a sad puppy. Because it's like, yeah, I told you I could help you and, help you to clean up that budget. So find out where you're spending the most money, whether it be going out with friends, popping bottles in the club, eating out every weekend. I can help you identify those areas to help you clean up that budget. So now you can take that extra $100 to $300 paying down on debt, right? You can take some of that money when you get, here's a nice little tip for y'all. If you're looking to save, right? Start paying yourself first. Don't say, oh, I don't got no money. Yeah, that's because you didn't paid everybody else before you paid yourself. Pay yourself first. If you have a W-2, have them take out a good 1 to 10% and put it in another bank account, not attached with your regular checking account. Right? And have that money. It's out of sight, out of mind. So that money is going over there before you even see it. So then you have what's left to work with. Right? And then the other money you can use to pay down on your debt. But make sure you clean out your budget first to see how much you got. And then start allocating that money away, because it was going to go anyway, but it was going to go in the wrong places. Right? And then once you do clean up your budget, start allocating, money towards paying down your debt. So that now your credit score starts going up. And now look at you. You ready to make investments. You ready to start a business. You living happier because you have less financial strains over yourself. So that's what I can say to get you guys started for today.
Ooh-wee, and I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more layers to that on how you can pay the debt down, how to really get it done. I think sometimes we think it's brain surgery, and we think we got to pay off all the debt at one time, and sometimes that's not even it. You don't even have to pay off the full balance on the credit card today. That's not it. There's so many ways to boost that credit score, and I would absolutely be remiss if I do not allow the people to know how they can connect with you so they can get right, honey. You got any any programs or any events coming up? Come on, spill the tea.
Of course, honey. I got programs because I believe in my kings and my queens, and I know that we're going to have the best finances out here, honey, because, when we come together and we unite and we put everything out there on the table, that's when we're able to, move in a unit and make powerful footsteps. So I have it to where it's either personal and family or where it's from a business standpoint, right? Both aspects, I will be helping you to restore your credit, because why? We need to have credit for anything it is that we think we're going to do, right? Whether it's helping with your business, whether it's, getting yourself together for the next home that you want to purchase, whatever it is, we're going to get that credit education popping for you. So I do have an credit education program on both sides that help you to be able to leverage. So for my personal and my families, that, you just want to get your organizational structure ready for your, for your family, I have credit education. It has legal and identity protection services that are attached, because the last thing you want to do is build yourself up and then have somebody take it away from you. So for my families, of course, you do have that free consultation as well for me to go in there, look at your credit report and tell you what needs to be done. That's for my personal and family. But for my businesses, not only do you get the credit education program, but you not only get that, you get my program called Drop the Panties, Shedding Light on Financial Embarrassment, that allows you to just now put it all on the table, expose yourself. You don't like where you at, that's okay. We're going to, as a unit, as a community, take you from point A to point P, in that sense of not only are you going to be getting the financial education that you need, you're going to have monthly programs for business coaching where you get some of the top business coaching. I'm pretty sure y'all know my girl, Queen of Dynasty. Me and her have partnered up to do some amazing things. We got Evelicia, who has partnered up with us as well to do these amazing business coaching, financial coaching, getting your mind elevated on reading and all the knowledge that you need to boost and give yourself the best business opportunity that you can possibly create for yourself. So we got Drop the Panties and our mentorship for my business gurus. And then, of course, we have our credit education program for my personal and families.
Ayo. There we go. That is it right there. Thank you so much for dropping all of this wealth of information today for our queens. And thank you. Just thank you.
Of course.
I don't know what else to say, girl. I'm going to push rewind on this thing and let me see what I got to go do. But
I know that's right.
Thank you. And you are always welcome back.
Of course. I can't wait to see y'all on the next one, y'all.
Yes. So, ladies, I know that this conversation might have been a little uncomfortable. I get it. Nobody wants to talk about money. Nobody wants to talk about finances. I just gave y'all a little bit of my own personal dirt, okay? But we are peeling back the layers here, and nothing is off the table, because I want to make sure that I'm pulling all of me on the table as well, so that you understand that I'm not just doing this to do this. I'm doing this because it matters to us. It matters as our well-being. It is about really unleashing your inner badass, baby, and that's going to take a whole lot of realness with yourself. It's going to come down to you having those raw, open conversations about things in your life. And then after you get all this information and after you done got the foundation set, then it's time to keep running, get running, and be relentless in your pursuit to get to where you were trying to go. But y'all know I always like to close this out with a little quote. And here's this one for you. Money looks better in the bank than in your closet. Honey, money looks better in the bank than in your closet. Ladies, go reevaluate your senses, your life, the people around you. Reevaluate your mindset. Because in order for us to break the barriers and be the baddest women on the planet, it's going to take a little bit more than what you've been doing right now. So, in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to catch y'all next time.
You know it's time.